Hey now, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars-centric Budacast. I'm your host, Matt Haywood, here with my partner in crime, Nick Caminita. How's it going, Nick?
Pretty good, man. Excited to be here.
As always, me too. So it's been a few weeks since our last cast. The last time around, we broke down the Rogue One, A Star Wars Story trailer and kind of gave our opinions or speculations on what the movie, how it may play out based on the trailer we saw. And today we're back with a brand new topic because that's how we roll, people. We're not here to dwell on the past or to go over things we've already talked about in detail. So today, Nick came up with the topic, and it is an exploration of the Knights of Ren organization. So, we've been talking about threads we've wanted to discuss, kind of lay our opinions on, maybe speculate and pull shit out of our ass like we do on this cast. And one of the groups we definitely had some question on is the Knights of Ren. Who are they? Why do they exist? How did Kylo become their leader? So on and so forth. And what was their role in Rey's Force vision? What were they doing? Nick's found things that they were on Endor slaughtering little Ewoks to get Vader's remains. Talking through that, we're like, it doesn't really look like it in the picture. It looks like they're out in kind of a desert area. Who knows? So we're going to talk a little bit about the Knights of Ren, drawing from sources we've dug up on the fabled internet. So it's probably all bullshit anyways, but hey, that's what we do. We make stuff up and we put it on the internet just like everyone else. And then after that, we're going to go into some of the new Star Wars news that's happened since the last cast, such as Daisy Ridley's lightsaber training, wushu style. We've got some Rogue One spoilers from a main cast member. We've got some more details from Rey's Force vision. There was a voice in there that you may not have heard, as well as a spoilerific dive into a pretty massive leak that popped up on the internet this week about Star Wars Episode 8, what its title may be, and a script synopsis. So that's what we have on deck to talk about in today's Star Wars-centric Budacast. So, Nick, I'm going to go ahead and let you kick off the Knights of Ren discussion since you are the local expert now. You did your due diligence searching on the internet, found some good stuff to look over, so let's just go ahead and kick off this Ren discussion.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is definitely one of the more shadowy organizations from the new film. I mean, it was pretty much just mentioned offhand, and like you said, we saw them in Rey's Force vision, so we don't have a lot of information on who they are, what their names are, what they were doing before Episode 7. All we know is that Kylo is their leader. But from what I found, it seems like they were an organization that existed before Kylo ever joined them, before Ben Solo fell to the dark side and joined under Snoke.
I agree.
So there was a quote from Adam Driver, actually a few days after the movie released, December 21st, 2015. He said, "It was a group that existed before him that he was a part of. They're placed within everything. It's maybe more of a satellite group than I would say. This is really tricky." So obviously, Kylo was not any kind of, organizer of this group. And there's a lot of speculation out there prior and right now that members of this group were almost solely formed of students that fell from Luke's Jedi Academy.
Okay, that's interesting.
But, so this kind of comes out and says that, they're not, well, most of them probably aren't students from Luke's Jedi Academy. They're probably going to be other members of some kind of First Order group that got put together under Snoke right after the fall of, the Empire after Episode 6, or maybe even sooner than that. So
Yeah, so if you go off the Star Wars Wikipedia, I mean, I know wikis, anyone get in there and type shit, but I think Star Wars fans, they pretty much type legit information in there. And it literally says, as Nick prefaced, the Knights of Ren was a dark side organization that operated under the command of Snoke, the supreme leader of the First Order. Kylo Ren was a member of the organization. So like Nick said, he didn't start the Knights. Snoke started the Knights. And it almost seems like, Nick, don't you think that Snoke, obviously, he's been watching things from the shadows for decades. I mean, we know for a fact that he's lived through the Republic, the fall of the Republic, the Clone Wars, the Galactic Civil War between the Rebellion and the Empire. So this guy knows his shit. He knows the galaxy, but it almost seems like he waited until the Empire crumbled, kept his eye on the Skywalker family, and it's like he was starting to maybe build the Knights of Ren to help him kind of make his power play to take over as the supreme leader of the bad guys in the Star Wars universe again. Kind of to mirror what Luke was trying to do by rebuilding the light side of the Force with his new Jedis.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that was his purpose, definitely. I mean, like you said before when we were talking before the cast started, they're kind of like his hit squad. You know, he put these guys together. If you remember the scene in the Force Vision, they're all some bad looking motherfuckers. I mean, they're armed to the teeth. They're dressed up in pretty frightening garb, and obviously it's not known if all of these guys are Force users or if they're Force sensitive or if they're just mercenaries. We don't know who they are, but
They look and we could get, or I could get fried for this or ridiculed, but I think they look more badass than Boba Fett.
yeah, dude. I mean,
They look fucking great. Like this, there's a picture out there, everyone, on Wikipedia. Just go to Wikipedia, search Knights of Ren. They have a great picture from Imager that is very detailed. Probably the most detailed one I've seen of the shot where it's kind of like the hero shot. Kylo standing there in the front with his blade extended, and then he's got the knights flanking him. But this is just a super crystal clear shot, and you can see every detail of their costumes, their weapons. I mean, these dudes are fucking badass. They all have unique helmets, where before it kind of looked like they all had Kylo's type of helmet. That's not the case. They definitely have their own helmets, and some of them have laser pistols, staffs, batons. The other thing I wanted to touch on, if now this may be getting too literal, Nick, but on Wikipedia, did you notice it says the Knights of Ren was a dark side organization? So is that implying that the Knights of Ren have been snuffed out, do you think? At this point in time? I mean, especially because, Master Knights of Ren, we know Kylo was their leader at some point in time. Do you think they still exist going into Star Wars Episode 8?
I mean,
Or were they disbanded? Did Kylo kill them all to become stronger? Or do you think that's just someone doesn't know how to type on Wikipedia?
yeah, I think that might have just been a fat finger, or at least just a mistype. But I mean, especially since Snoke said, you are the leader of the Knights of Ren in Episode 7.
Right.
That's implying that they're still out there. Obviously, they weren't in the movie, which you could draw a lot of inferences from that. Maybe they were out doing something else. Maybe they are all dead. Who the fuck knows? But I would assume that them bringing them up in Episode 7 in that kind of a way, and then there being this great amount of speculation out there about who they are, it would kind of be odd if they were, we started Episode 8 and they'd be like, oh yeah, they're all dead. Or
we kind of have to see them, don't we?
Yeah, I feel like it's a necessary part of this.
I mean, the
trilogy
fact that
now.
the new main bad guy's name is based on their group. We were talking about this before the cast went live. Kind of how the Sith used to be. The rule of two. You always had the master and apprentice, but they always were Darth something.
Yeah,
They always took the Darth title and a new name. The new name could be whatever: Vader, Maul, Sidious, whatever, Revan.
yeah.
Or some of the other ones. Malik was the guy Malik the other?
Yeah, Malik was one. There's a ton. If you go back, there's a ton. Darth Bane was the guy who instituted the rule of two back in the Sith.
Yeah,
day.
because Sith were a bunch of assholes, power hungry. They're bloodthirsty with the dark side of the Force, and they'd all just fucking kill each other. I mean, they couldn't. If the Sith ever could have just worked together, they would have easily taken over the galaxy and ruled it for millions of years, probably. I mean, they would have snuffed out the Jedi a long time ago. Because again, the dark side users aren't afraid to tap in to the evilness of the Force, the killing, the Force lightning, Force chokes, you name it. I mean, that's their shit. Where the Jedi's, they want to sit there and meditate and kind of see it, look into the future, and live on the same planet in the same city as the main Sith master and just completely not even know what the fuck he's doing for 10, 20 years.
You would
I mean, it's
figure with
just,
all that introspection they could figure that out, right?
it's
But
unbelievable. I mean, Yoda's been around for 900 years and he couldn't fucking figure out that the Sith were right there under his nose. That just again goes back to the prequels just being fucking stupid. Just stupid. I mean, it made the Jedi look like a bunch of clown ass jerk offs. Like,
yeah,
it's like,
oh man, it
what
was
is this
bad.
shit?
It was bad. But
We hear about these awesome Jedi Knights in A New Hope, and then we're given Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, and all these guys that can't beat an elderly Sith, 5-on-1, and literally have no clue that he's playing the entire galaxy for fools right under their nose.
yeah, it was a baffling turn of events to see how blinded they were.
Yeah,
But I don't know, man.
yeah, let's not even go down
Yeah,
that
that's
rabbit
just
hole. I mean,
so
I
many.
fucking hate the prequels. It's out there. I
That's a
hate them. I
cast
wish it
for
never
another
existed.
time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're living in a period now where it seems like video game development has just been stuck in a rut of remastering or remakes. Let's go ahead and get a remake started for the prequels. Like some of these other assholes that will create White House petitions. Let's go ahead and create a White House petition to get the prequels remade by Disney.
Yeah,
Right now, let's just do it. I mean, complete remake, not even fucking remaster or anything. Just throw all that shit out. Pretend, do what you did with the expanded universe and just abort it. All right, let's get back on topic. So, Knights of Ren. So, as far as episode 8 goes, do you think maybe Kylo gets sent to train with them, or do you think we'll get to see them going on missions to bolster his training? I mean, I think it's pretty clear that we're going to see him take an even larger step towards becoming the master of the dark side. I mean, even Snoke himself said, okay, it's time to beef up this dude's training. He's killed his dad. He did that for me. I think he may be ready. And then he fought a girl who never fought in her life, and she kicked his ass.
yeah. I definitely think there's going to be some training. I think the Knights of Ren. I don't know if it's going to be training as much with the Knights of Ren, but I would expect to see some missions, or at least some, like, when they're getting ready to go to a battle. Like he forms up the group and he's like, "All right, guys, we can't risk anything."
Yeah,
I
want to see Kylo ass Ren with his knights.
Yeah,
I want like the Death Squad. I mean, I want to see them like get sent out and do some shit. Instead of sending legions of First Order stormtroopers and Kylo himself to go raid a Jakku village, how about just Kylo and his 6 buddies? I mean, I want to see that type of action. I want to see him interact with these dudes. I want to see, are they aliens? Are they humanoids? Like Nick said, are they proficient in the Force? We have to assume they are if they're a dark side organization. Maybe they're just worshippers of the Force, kind of like how Lord Santeca is a kind of worshiper of the light side of the Force. We've established there is that kind of religion in this galaxy where there are pockets of people that look at the Force as a religion, and you got the devil on the dark side, the good on the light side, so on and so forth. So I don't know. I dig them. I mean, just looking at this picture, I'm still staring at it. I want action figures. I want Funko Pops. I mean, there's some badass looking costumes that we really only got to see in a blink of an eye in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't even gotten any casting news as to who's going to fill those roles yet, and we've had actually very little casting news aside from Benicio del Toro and
there's
Laura
that.
Dern.
And this can sound awful, but what do you know the Asian girl's name that got cast?
Oh no, I'd have to look it up.
Because I mean, according to some of the rumors out there, and even Boyega said, is like she is
the new
like
main character.
Yeah, she's like the next big thing to be introduced in the new Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very possible that these guys either they could be recognizable names, they could be other people that are around Adam Driver's age, just to kind of keep a consistency along the whole Knights of Ren group. But I mean, I'm really interested to see what they turn out to be, because I mean, you don't often see a Sith or a dark side Force user running around with what looks like a sniper rifle. If you look at some of the concept art that's leaked, you see that most of them, out of the 7, which the 7 includes Kylo, only one other one is supposed or guessed to use a lightsaber. Everybody else has some other sort of weapon, whether it be a staff, a sniper rifle, a big ass mallet thing. But only one other one looks like he has a lightsaber, and it looks like it could be a dual blade lightsaber. And actually, this concept art is pretty telling. It gives you a really detailed breakdown of the characters, of their names. They're, at least in the concept art documents, they're named the Heavy, the Armory, the Rogue, the Sniper, and the Monk, and that's still leaving out one person. And
Well, yeah, I don't know what image you're looking at, but again, on Wikipedia, everyone, I know you can't really see it on a radio show here, but there's another image of 3 concept images of the Knights, and one looks like the Heavy, one's fucking loaded. He has 4 grenades on his shoulders, literally a pistol that looks like it's from our universe strapped to his chest, and a staff, and then the other one has a saber hilt on his belt.
Yeah. If there's an Imager link that has more than that, it's got a bunch of them on there, and if you scroll down,
yeah. So I was looking at the Heavy, the Armory, and the Rogue. The Rogue's the one with the saber.
Yeah. If you look at some of the other ones, if you scroll down in that Imager thing, you'll see that there's what looks like a kid. Like, he's like a young boy standing there. If you look at his left leg, it almost looks like it's a mechanical leg, and he's called the Young Jedi Killer, new concept. And he's holding a staff lightsaber similar to what Darth Maul held. Now, it's not ignited, but you can tell that it's a staff.
Okay, I have this book, and I believe this was kind of what they're going for the Kylo character as far as the boy goes.
Okay. So this is like early Kylo.
Right.
Kind of.
I mean, there was always, when they thought of the new movie, there was always going to be a Jedi killer type.
Okay.
Yeah, so that could be him. I don't know if he's a knight, but I see that it is mixed within the other Knights of Ren stuff, but I believe that could be of Kylo. Either way, the find of the 5, the Heavy, the Armory, the Rogue, the Sniper, the Monk, it's pretty sweet how they match it up to the actual clip in the movie. So yeah, they're a badass looking group of people. I mean, they look like bounty hunters that are way more fearsome looking than even Mr. Fett himself. I mean, they make Fett look like a pussy ass clone trooper at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely...
Actually, I would cosplay as these motherfuckers. I mean, these guys are badass.
And it's like, this could be a legit cosplay group too. Like, if you can get you and 6 of your friends together, like, that would be amazing.
I think I'd go for the Monk, the Heavy. They're great. That's great concept art. Yeah. So, anyways, the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting group of characters in this Star Wars universe that I definitely want to know more on. You see the guy? I mean, I'm on that page you're on now, Nick. But the GIF up there with the dude. I mean, it looks like he's got like a fucking Buster sword on his shoulder.
All the way in the back, dude's got
like a paddle. It's like a boat paddle.
Yeah, it's massive. Whatever kind of melee weapon that dude's holding is ridiculous.
Damn, I mean, these guys are sweet.
They look awesome. And then, like, going back to this GIF, I know that in previous casts we kind of speculated on whether this is a past vision or is it a future vision. And I had messaged you a couple of weeks ago because I was watching the movies again and I was reading, I read the crawl really closely. And, like, now that I've kind of done more research and just processed it more, it seems like to me that this could be a past vision. Because if we look at it, Kylo's holding his, cross hilt, or his crossguard lightsaber. Yeah, it's the
same unstable lightsaber.
Yeah, from
definitely.
Episode 7. And if we're right in assuming that lightsaber got destroyed in the movie, then this would have to be a past vision unless he rebuilt that same exact lightsaber, which is highly unlikely. So that's making me kind of lean towards the past vision, and that would also kind of...
Yeah, I've always kind of thought this would have been like the last massacre of Luke's students, and this is what sent Luke into hiding.
Yeah.
Was this night right here.
Yeah, it could have...
And the fact that Rey saw it means that her Force spirit, if you will, her lineage witnessed it, because in her vision, everything she saw or heard. Now that we're gonna maybe talk about this a little bit later on. it's as if she is in tune with the big players in the Force, the Skywalkers, the Kenobis, and the dark side,
Yeah.
aka Palpatine. So it's almost like if she's seeing that, she did see it in her vision. So she's either related to those people, or the Force felt like she needed to see this stuff. I mean, maybe she witnessed it as a little kid and just forgot about it. Who knows? But I'm with you. I think it's a past scene as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, like this concept art's pretty incredible to look at, especially when you get the side by sides and see how everything matches up, and just learning that this organization was around prior to Kylo joining, and then him literally naming himself because of the group of people that he's associated with. So it's a lot of new knowledge out there, and I mean, it just makes me want to learn more about them. I mean, even digging into the dark crevices of Reddit, there's not a lot of good speculation out there that I could hang my hat on.
What if this the rain scene again is, Kylo looks up, he's looking at someone, and in the movie we see it appears like he's looking at Rey, which wouldn't be the case if it is a past shot. What if Luke is here and Luke just witnessed all this,
That could be. That's
and
actually,
they're looking up, staring at Luke like, what?
yeah,
Luke, since he's super Grandmaster Jedi, I'm sure he wasn't completely fearful of all these guys, and he probably could get away or whatever. And I'm just throwing shit out there at this point in time. I'm just trying to think. I just want to know what the fuck happened this night. Where were they? When did it happen?
yeah. I
And
mean,
who else was there?
if you look at it, I mean, like even I mean, this GIF is only a second, if that, but like you can see that they're all walking back. They're walking together, so they're reassembling.
Yeah, it's like they just finished whatever they came to do, and obviously it was to fucking murder a bunch of people.
So I mean, the only two people that I could legitimately see him looking up like that at is either Luke or Snoke. So
Yeah. And there's no way Snoke's getting his ass out in the rain like that.
no, I mean he looks like a pretty decrepit old guy, so he's probably chilling on some kind.
Because we need to know about that scene in the vision and in the trailers where Luke reaches his hand onto. He's still wearing it looks like a white tunic, but almost like a black robe still.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches his hand and almost like consoles R2 on a desert at night with a fire. I mean, I think that's a pass shot as well.
Yeah, probably
Potentially
so.
after he felt. Maybe that's just him feeling what happened in this scene right here.
It could be.
Feeling it through the Force, like, okay, that's it. Kylo and his Knights of Ren have literally just wiped out everyone that I trained, and it's just me now. Boo-hoo, R2, shut yourself down. I'm out. I'm going to the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, it's like, this is where I'm going to go. You just sit there until...
Yeah, he just realized, like, fuck. He did it. He just wiped out all the work I tried to start with the light side users again. My cocksucking nephew.
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, like, I would hope... I mean, this is something that I think would get a good reaction in the new movie, is if they just took this scene from the Force Vision and extended it.
Well, yeah, just play it. Just fucking open the movie with that scene and show what happened.
Yeah, just show the whole thing.
And then, like, flash forward to, Kylo sitting there remembering the scene, or Luke was remembering the scene, or whoever was there was remembering it. Damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean,
it's so long, dude. We got like a year and a half to go.
Yeah, it's a long time. But I mean, like, to me, the perfect way to open it is you open with the full scene, show what happens, and then you have, like, Luke wake up in the middle of the night on Tython, and you can see Rey sleeping there too. I mean,
there you go, dude. See, fucking writing scripts right here. We're writing scripts live on the air. I mean, well, it won't be live to you, but it's live to us.
That's the perfect way to open episode 8. Ryan Johnson, if you're listening, you got to go do some rewrites, buddy.
Even though you're halfway through filming, just go ahead and cram that one in there.
Yeah.
We just need a credit. We don't care.
Yeah.
We don't need money. Just let us come hang out in London with you at Pinewood. Please. Pretty please.
Sounds like a deal to me, dude.
All right, so let's move on from the Ren guys. It's really not much more we can go into, because they are still a very mysterious group. We know they're We know they support the dark side. We know that Kylo is one of them, took a name from them, and is their master at this point in time. And we know that Snoke had a hand in their formation. Outside of that, we don't know dick, as you can tell by the last 30 minutes of conversation. So before we get into some of the new Episode 8 stuff, I just want to touch on something I put out like a week or two ago based on another site that dug this up. So we've already been talking about it, Rey's Force Vision. It was a huge part of Episode 7, especially for lore geeks like Nick and myself, the guys that want to know all the minutia. Well, why is this happening? That type of shit. I'm someone that if I play a game and it touches me, I'll go back and I'll try to read every ounce of material on lore out there. I mean, the Halo franchise comes to mind. That's one that played the games and just had to dive into the books. I wanted to know more. I wanted more stories from that universe. Same shit going on here. But anyways, from that Force Vision, someone scrubbed the audio, really cleaned it up so you could hear everything. And they did a very kind thing for us Star Wars geeks. They nailed down the quotes where they came from in the original movies. So most of them are from the original movies. But they did find a new one. This is one I definitely did not hear myself the 9 times I've seen this movie already. But they did find some dialogue from Palpatine in Rey's vision. So in Rey's vision, she was hearing stuff from Yoda, Luke, Obi-Wan, and Palpatine. A very curious mix. Who else has interacted with those characters? Anakin was trained by Obi-Wan and Yoda, influenced by Palpatine. Luke was trained by Obi-Wan and Yoda, influenced by Palpatine. Rey, I don't know. I mean, and that was kind of the angle that this site was going for. Like, now that we really pick through this dialogue and we see who's and what they're saying and the original scenes they came from, it really makes Rey sound like she's in the same type of trinity as the Skywalker boys.
Yeah.
So is she a Skywalker after all? And kind of like Nick and I were talking a few minutes ago, the fact that she saw these very select moments from a Skywalker's life. I mean, honestly, she saw the hallway on Bespin where Luke got his ass kicked by his dad. She saw whatever happened in this rain scene with the Knights of Ren. She saw herself being dropped off on Jakku.
These are all, I was heavily leaning towards her being a solo kid, but I mean, like, it's definitely good information out there, and it's starting to lead me to believe she could be a Skywalker, some kind of Skywalker. She could be.
I mean, all the dialogue except for the very last line were from original movies.
Yeah.
When Obi-Wan says these are your first steps, that was new.
Yeah.
That's what they brought Ewan McGregor in to say, and just cool Star Wars Easter egg stuff. When he says her name Rey, that's actually Alec's voice.
Yeah, Alec Guinness. When he was saying afraid, they just
they clipped some of it out, so it sounded like Rey. So these are your first steps. It is interesting that. No, I guess it's not, because Obi-Wan was Luke's main mentor too.
Yeah,
so.
And I mean, if you think about it too, like, these are your first steps. If you want to just break down that one line, I mean, it's basically showing you the quotes are like the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and then you have Yoda in there. Isn't it? His is like
I'll read through them. I mean, you're exactly right. Every bit of dialogue boils down to
the Skywalker
dangers
journey
of the Force and how the dark side pulls on the Skywalkers.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoda starts out with its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luke goes, no, no. Then Obi-Wan, you will be tempted. Obi-Wan, but you cannot control it. Yoda surrounds us. Obi-Wan, the Force will be. Palpatine, any Jedi. Obi-Wan, you will do it. Rey, these are your first steps.
Yeah, I mean, these are all pretty integral moments in
so
the life of Skywalker.
This just kind of hit me, Nick, but that last line, these are your first steps, does that not imply that Rey probably never was being trained in the Force then?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that she wasn't. Like, she probably wasn't being trained.
A lot of the Skywalker thread people are out there going, well, Luke was probably just training her as a young kid, and he had to hide her after Kylo killed everyone.
No, I don't buy that. I still think that she wasn't being trained. Even like in my theory that she was a solo kid, like, she was hidden away before she started her training. and I still think that would hold true even if she is a Skywalker kid. Because
Yeah, I don't think she was trained whatsoever. I think if she is a Skywalker, her path will be very much like her father's. She was dumped somewhere just to just remove her from the situation, remove her from the Force, if you will. Not even let her know that she has these powers or the abilities to become the all-powerful, chosen one, Jedi Supreme, Sith Supreme. So it's like someone knew. I'm thinking, and again, this all kind of points back to the fucking leaked script from Episode 8. It's almost like someone knew of her potential, and they also knew what was happening with Snoke and Ben Solo, and they're like, "Yo, we got to hide this fucking kid because if Snoke finds another one, we have no chance."
Yeah, I mean,
You
people
know,
it's definitely true that people knew who she was, and I still think that Leia somehow knows who she is. Luke definitely knows who she is, and I mean, just those two people knowing you have the leader of the New Republic or the Rebellion, and then you have the Grand Master Jedi. Both of them who are attuned to the Force, both of them can be influenced by the Force. So just those two people knowing who she is enough to put it out there into the Force ether that there's another very powerful Force user that could be manipulated if she's found.
I'm even thinking back now the movie when Snoke and Kylo talk about her. It's not like Snoke goes like, "Oh yeah." I mean, it's almost like she's new to him too. I mean, hell, he says there's been an awakening.
Yeah.
Have you felt it?
And then, like, to me, it was always curious when, like, the random First Order guy walks up to Kylo and says, like, the droid got away with Finn, and then he does his fucking tantrum, rips up the whole console, and then he says, anything else? And he says, there was a girl. And then, like, that is not the reaction you would have if it was just, like, a random girl that you had no idea about. Or that, like...
Yeah, because he sucks him over and kind of Vaders him for a little bit.
Yeah, he pulls this dude over like he just said, like, your mom was there, too. Like, he said...
Yeah, he said, your mom wears combat boots, something like that.
So, like, that sparked something in him. So it wasn't, because if it was just some random girl, why would he get so pissed? Like, there was no reason for it. Like, there was no reason
I remember
for him to have
when
that
you first brought that up, and I was like, I think it was just coincidence. But the more I watched it, the more I'm like, maybe he did have an idea of a girl.
Yeah, maybe not who. Maybe he didn't have, like, a name or an idea of who it is, but there's this sense within the Force.
Again, that plays into, they could be related. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
I really don't want it to get. And let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. And before we get into it, everyone, just want to warn you, there will be potential spoilers. Again, we're going off a Reddit thread that popped up, I think this week or last week. Someone claiming they know the working title of episode 8. They know the general script synopsis, and so who knows if it's legit or not. But I want to warn you regardless, just in case it is legit. Trust me, I already kind of feel like an ass for reading half of it, even though most of it is from another speculation topic we've had before that, Rey could potentially be the chosen one reincarnated. So it's not brand new, but this one's definitely fleshed the fuck out. I mean, it breaks down the main acts of a film, 1, 2, 3. The opening. The kind of the build up, the climax, the finale. I mean, it's got everything in there. So, spoiler warning, you've heard it here first. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it, but just in case you want to go in as clean and fresh as possible, you might want to turn things down for a bit at this point in time. So, here's what we got. This is what is supposedly happening in Star Wars Episode 8. And the first thing we want to touch on is the title. So the working title, everyone, if you're ready, again, one last spoiler warning. It is Star Wars Episode 8, Echoes of the Dark Side. Da-da-da-da. What do you think, Nick?
I think it's a pretty legit title. I mean, it would fall in line with... I mean, see, like, I'll save this until we get to the end of it, but, like, it falls in line with what we expected. This is going to be a darker version. This is going to be kind of similar to what Episode 5 did, Empire Strikes Back. In Episode 5, you have right in the name Empire, so you knew that it was going to be focusing kind of towards the darker end of the Star Wars spectrum. So the title falls in line with what the speculated sort of tone of this movie was going to be: darker, more, I don't want to say more mature, but definitely more focused on the dark side of the
Let's
Force.
be real. This is going to be Empire Strikes Back 2.0, just like The Force Awakens was a New Hope 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's going to happen, people, and I don't care. I'm all for it because it's still a new story, new characters, but it is. It's going to be. I mean, we know Rey's going to be getting trained by Luke, and we know she's probably going to have draws on her from the dark side. We know Kylo is going to further his journey into the dark side as Vader was doing in Empire. You know, Vader literally his whole goal in Empire was to fucking try to kill the goddamn rebel that blew up the space station until he figured out that it was his kid. I mean, he knew going in that it was his kid when kind of him and the Emperor have a little talk. He was like, the offspring of Skywalker cannot become a full Jedi. So it really was about Vader more or less going to kill his kid. And we find out that, as we've talked about in the comics and whatnot, Vader never really wanted to wipe out Luke. He wanted to recruit him his own, and so they could become father and son and rule the galaxy and kill Emperor Palpatine.
Just like he said on Endor. Yeah.
I mean, Vader is always, if you read any of the comics, old, new, the old expanded universe, the new stuff that is canon, Vader's main goal has always been to try to kill fucking Palpatine, and Palpatine's main goal has always been to try to kill Vader. That's just what Sith do. They need each other, but they fucking hate each other because they always want more power.
Yeah, life and times of a Sith, man. It's gotta be really shitty falling asleep as a Sith to know that there's literally somebody that's probably in the same building as you that wants to kill you.
Ready to kill you. Just ask Supreme Leader Snoke. Yeah. I almost guarantee is Plagueis. I mean, he has to be. But we'll find out, I guess. So I'm kind of down with the title, too. I think it fits. Echoes of the Dark Side. It's going to be a darker film. I think the film will focus more on the dark side of the Force than the light, because I think Luke is going to have very deep concerns about Rey's, or the pull on Rey, now that she is tapping into her obvious massive Force potential. So I think it's going to be a lot like Yoda's tutelage to Luke back then. Like, listen, motherfucker, you started training late. You come from a family that is super strong with the Force, but not maybe too strong in the head game. You're going to be tempted. If you don't fucking listen to me, you will fall just as your father did.
Yeah, it's very
And he almost did. I mean, Luke went there and got the shit kicked out of him, and if it wasn't for Vader telling him that he's his dad, and Vader, still, you could see even back in Empire that Vader still
didn't want to kill him.
He cared for his son.
Yeah, I mean he's sitting there, he's defeated. All Vader had to do was just one stroke. Boom, he would have been dead. But that's, clearly.
Yeah, the whole fight between the two in Empire was just to wear Luke down and let him know, like, listen, dude, you have no skills that can even remotely match what I can do right now.
Exactly.
It's like, we're just playing right now. I mean, I'm walking down a hallway throwing the walls at you and fucking shit attached to the walls. You can do nothing to me. So, I did. I mean, Episode 8 is going to be all about the pull on Rey. I think Finn, his journey is going to be like what Han and Leia were up to. They're doing their own thing. I mean, in Empire, they're just trying to fucking get away from the Empire the whole time. And then in the end, they all just kind of meet up together, and that's the end, blah, blah, blah. So, moving on deeper into this supposed plot synopsis. So, spoiler alert again. But essentially, this plot is saying it's going to be broken into 3 main threads. We're going to have a Rey thread, a Finn thread, and a Kylo thread. It's also saying that it's not going to be as action-heavy as The Force Awakens, and kind of the first 2 acts, but in the 3rd act, it's going to be nuts. And again, the structure isn't going to be as similar as Strikes Back was. I'm sorry, A New Hope was to The Force Awakens, but it is going to parallel it quite, mirror it, if you will. So here's the shit that could get a little wonky. Basically, they're running with the story that Rey is the reincarnated Anakin, or the chosen one, or AKA the one from the Matrix, Neo.
Yeah, she's Star Wars Neo, which is where this one immediately loses me.
Right. Nick's not feeling this at all. I at first wasn't feeling it, but the more I read of this synopsis, I'm going, if done right, I think they could pull it off and not be completely ridiculous. I'm still with Nick though. I would rather them kind of craft a legitimate history around Rey, and not just do the cop out of yeah, she's Jesus and was born to a virgin and blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
I mean, like, if I don't know if you want to. I mean, this is really up to the people listening. If you want to go and read this thread, you can read it. Matt, read the thread out to me before we started the cast, and after he was finished, I'm like, dude, you realize that that's almost just the same speech the Oracle gave to Neo from the Matrix movie. Like, so they're really heavily leaning on, like, she is the literal one. And
Yeah, and here I'll read some of it, people, just
yeah,
so you can see like how far they're going with this. So essentially, backstory: Luke and his Jedi were wiped out by Snoke after he got Kylo and some of his other students to the dark side. They were tasked, the Knights of Ren, go around and kill any light side user you can find. Luke and others survived, including a young Rey who was dumped on Jakku by Luke. Rey's mom died in the attack. Rey is pissed at Luke because she guesses that he was her father and is angry at him for abandoning her, but then Luke turns to her and says, "No, you are my father." And that's where I want to throw up. I mean, I think that line is as cheesy as it fucking gets.
yeah, that's awful.
And supposedly, Rey, again, is the reincarnation of Anakin, the Chosen One. Supposedly, Luke, his whole mission to go to these early Jedi temples was to better understand the concept of the Chosen One. And supposedly the spirit of the Chosen One is reincarnated by the Force every time the universe is thrown out of balance.
Yeah, that is literally what the Oracle told Neo when she was explaining, or not the Oracle, the Architect told Neo when he was explaining the prophecy of the One. He's like, yeah, there's been a shitload of ones, and every time, the Matrix gets out of whack, the One has to go on the journey and make the choice to either,
Get rebooted or
reboot the Matrix or
stick with it.
Yeah, or say fuck you like Keanu Reeves Neo did, and then try to take out the virus or whatever the hell it was. That's the same speech. It's like, so to me, while this does seem like it could seem legit when you read it, but I think that's just because there's ardent Star Wars fans out there like us who like really like the idea of that kind of thread. And he wrote something. Like, this dude just came out there and he's like, I'm going to write something that sounds really good with this. And, I mean, really, if I wanted to, I could probably sit down and take the theory that I like and it really fucking come up with something that sounds legit. And I think that's all this is like some dude really liked that theory and he came up with something that sounds really awesome.
Yeah. No, and I was with you. I'm still very much on your side, but the more I read of this, the more I'm going, if they do it right, it works within the universe that Lucas created.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it completely works because he threw it out there in episode 1. These fucking midichlorian things, they're the Force. It's not just a spirit. They're little goddamn bugs that live in you, and they can make babies.
Yeah. Now, I think that, really, if you go back and listen to the cast that we did on the origins of Rey, I think if you take any of those theories, they could all work. The Kenobi one could work, the Force Jesus one could work, the Solo kid could work, and then the Skywalker kid could work. They could all work within the framework of Star Wars, obviously. It's just, what's going to get the best reaction from the crowd? And what's going to play best with the fans, I think, is going to be the main thing that Disney wants to focus on here. And to me, this wouldn't play well because it would give, essentially then what you're saying is, I'm not going to give you a backstory to Rey. Rey has no backstory. Rey's backstory.
She'd just be like Anakin.
Yeah, Rey's...
Fucking, she had a mom, and the mom's pretty much useless. There you go.
Yeah, so you would have to fill in nothing, which to me, with a character like Rey, who now holds such prominence in the universe. I mean, we're working with a very small pool of characters now that the old EU has been destroyed. So you only have a limited amount of characters that are in canon, that are Force users, that are Jedi. So you're going to take one of those characters and give her the same exact backstory as somebody else in the universe that's already established. It's lazy, and it does a disservice to that character. She is a character that deserves to have her backstory fleshed out and enriched in a way that you can connect with her. So that's my opinion on
Yeah,
it.
I'm with you still, but I would not be surprised if they pull it off. I think they could pull it off. I do. I think if done right, they could pull it off because it would tie the whole Skywalker
Regime.
circle of life back together, back to what George set forth in the prequels. I mean, it would explain more of how even fucking Anakin showed up. I mean, it goes back. It would even flesh out more of what Lucas just left blank. So there is an opportunity to tell a story there. Is it the story we want to know? Based on pretty much everyone's reaction to this supposed leak, no. I mean,
Yeah.
as you can tell from Nick, I mean, he's ready to pull his hair out just thinking about it. But most articles I read, and I didn't even fucking post it. I stay away from that. I'll post other shit, set pics, whatever. These type of things I usually stay away from on entertainmentbuddha.com. But pretty much anyone that did a post on it was like, God, please let this be fake. I hope this is fake. God, this could suck. Star Wars is ruined again. I wouldn't go that far if it happens, but
It would
I
be
don't
the
think the world
weakest.
wants it to go
Yeah.
this way.
To me, like, if you're gonna pick one of, like, if somehow we nailed it down, like, if somehow the internet nailed it down to the 5 theories that Disney had in front of them before they started writing Episode 8, so they were looking at all the same things we were looking at. They were looking at Kenobi, as her, lineage, Solo, Skywalker,
Well, I
and
mean,
the One.
according to JJ, the episode 8 script was written well before TFA launched. I mean, he even came out and said, actually, I think it was finished right around when Force Awakens
Yeah, because he said
hit
he hadn't.
theaters.
He said he
Because
hadn't read
he
it.
said after he read it, he wishes he would have taken the movie
Yeah.
instead of giving it up and letting Rian Johnson do it.
So like, I think that even like if Disney was looking at those 4 choices, that would have been the first one that they would have been like, no, it's already been done. So I mean,
right? No, there is. I think it comes to there's 2 arguments. It's been done It's been done already, or let's go back and try to give
correct it.
correct what George set forth in the franchise with episode 1 and the chosen one theory. Let's, we can't just ignore it. It exists. Let's flesh it out and give it a little more weight with these new characters.
It's possible. I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I would force myself not to hate it. But,
I tried to do that on the prequels, and it only lasted so long.
Yeah.
I mean, really, by Revenge of the Sith, I was still holding out hope that one could save them all. But even after watching that, I finally had to come to the realization that these were just waste of my life, my fandom, everything.
Yeah, and then like to me, there is no way in hell that this would that a legit version of the script or even a plot synopsis of this script would leak so far out from release.
Well, here's the deal. They a lot of these sites, and even the one I'm reading right now, I guess the same thing happened with The Force Awakens, and 99% of it was true.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
It just says right here, as Comic Book Movie explains, months before Star Wars The Force Awakens hit cinemas, a plot outline leaked online, and it ended up being pretty much 99% accurate.
Yeah, but that was months before the release. This is like a year. They're still in filming. This is like a year and a half before.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Well, people. There it is.
I'm just trying to do everything to shoot this shit down. I'm like, please don't let this be it.
Man, like I said, the more I read of it, even though I don't want to be reading more of it, the more I'm like, you know what? I think this is going to be it. I think this is going to be it.
I think it could be a Star Wars story. I'll put it like that. It could be a Star Wars story. Do I think it's going to be Episode 8? No. I don't think it's going to be Episode 8.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see. I'm right now. I'm throwing it down right now. This is it.
Oh.
Echoes of the Dark Side. Here we come. Chosen Ones. Force Jesus. Part 2. Bring it.
This is gonna be. We're gonna come back to this.
I just ruined next week.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in a year and a half after me and Matt go see the movie in theaters. We're gonna sit down to do the cast, and we're gonna be like, "You were right."
Yeah, we'll get to hear Nick commit suicide live on the air.
It would be. I don't know. I mean, but then, even if they did it, I have enough faith in Disney and Rian Johnson and the writers and Larry Kasdan that they would do it right.
That's my point. That's why I'm still holding on to hope that even if they do it, it will still be good.
Yeah,
It's not George fucking Lucas.
that's a good point, man. So I mean, it can be done well with the right people, with the right storytelling.
I really do. I mean, the more I'm thinking about it, the more just again how it ties the whole fucking franchise back to episode 1. I think it could be done right, tell lore that makes sense, and yeah, sure. Then we don't need to erase mom, dad if she even has a dad. Well, she wouldn't have a dad if she is Force Jesus. It would be fine just leaving it like, yeah. So, I mean, even Daisy Ridley came out and said, I knew who my parents are and they're irrelevant. I mean, she could be throwing up smoke signals or she could be telling us the fucking truth.
But
And if
then,
she's
like-
saying she knows who they are and they don't really matter, well, yeah, that again points to she's the fucking chosen one.
I also think that could mean, like, it doesn't really matter who my parents are because this is my journey. Like, it doesn't matter if my parents are Luke and somebody, or if it doesn't matter if my parents
Who
are
knows,
Obi-Wan
man?
Kenobi and somebody. Like,
More stuff will come out as the months approach towards December 2017. We'll get all sorts of more speculations and insights when the first teaser drops. So
yeah,
we'll just have to wait and see. So that's it, people. We've went a little long for a Star Wars cast, but that's good. We had some good shit to talk about, kind of iron out some confusion possibly over episode 8 plot and what it may be. Is it going to be the Echoes of the Dark Side? Who knows? And we really don't even know who the Knights of Ren are, but we do know they're badass looking, and I wouldn't want to run into them in a dark alley on a Saturday night.
definitely not.
So it's been real, everyone. Just make sure to hit up entertainmentboo.com on a daily basis. Today I just put out some new set photos from Rian Johnson himself. He announced that they are halfway through. Think about that. They are halfway through filming episode 8 already. So there's a good chance we'll be getting a trailer probably come December like we did for The Force Awakens. About a year before the film comes out, we should get that trailer. I wouldn't expect anything on May the 4th, which which is next week.
Yeah, unless
But you never know. Yeah. You never know. Maybe we will get that. That's a good call, Nick. Maybe we'll get a title reveal, or maybe a costume shot, maybe a basic character pose. Who knows? Hopefully, we get something. There will be some sort of celebration on May the 4th be with you. So until then, everyone. Until the next cast, I bid you farewell, and may the Force be with you always.